Hey, Sassy Stuff. I'm Emma, and I'm here with Molly, and we are previewing the Tennessee Volunteers versus the Vanderbilt Commodores. Let's get to it. How do you feel about this game?
Um, I think this is gonna be another close game. I think it's gonna be similar to Texas A&M. I think I'm honestly predicting maybe even an overtime. I think Vandy is such a team that shocks us. They surprise us almost every time they show up. I mean, even throwing it back to when they beat Bama, then they almost beat Texas. It was a
Yep.
way too close of a game. So, I have this specific feeling about Tennessee though that I don't know if they're prideful. I'm not really sure what it is. But I feel like their egos might get rocked this weekend.
I have that feeling as well. So they are playing in Nashville, and crazy things have been happening in Nashville this year. Like you said, Alabama lost. Texas almost lost there. Tennessee is obviously favored, but I don't know. Diego has just been absolutely amazing this year. He threw for 186 yards and a touchdown against LSU. He almost beat LSU that week, and he's a mobile QB. He adds 350 rushing yards this season. So he has been absolutely dynamic and has really made a name for Vanderbilt in football this season, which is not something we're used to. So I'm really excited to see this matchup. I love Tennessee, and I think they have an amazing defense, and they have a great quarterback in Nico Iamaleava, but the problem there is they just cannot score. They cannot put points on the board to save their life, and this is kinda to save their playoff life here because Ole Miss and Alabama did drop out of where they were, their playoff chances are a lot easier, but they have to win out to really secure their spot. And if they do win this game, then of course they're going to the playoffs. They will be in there. But Diego, he's really been upsetting people this year.
I'm telling you, there's something about every time we favor anybody outside of Vanderbilt, I don't know if it's vengeance. I don't know if they're just an underdog. They're genuinely an underdog. Every time we favor somebody else, and it's like they either come really close to beating these amazing teams, and they do. So I'm curious because this last week in the SEC, you had like three ranked teams that lost to
Yeah.
not ranked teams at all. I'm curious. I think this trend could keep going. I genuinely think it could. I think I don't know. I'm gonna favor Vanderbilt. Honestly, I do.
Yeah.
As much as I love Tennessee, I do. I'm gonna favor Vanderbilt because I think they're sneaky and they're wildly talented on their defense.
Oh, yeah. And I think rivalry games always bring out the best in teams, and the best in Vanderbilt can really upset teams. They did with Alabama, they almost did with Texas, and I think they can with Tennessee as well because Vanderbilt can put points on the board. Their defense is relatively strong, so if they can hold Nico Iamaleava and keep points off the board, I think they have a really strong chance here. And you know what? I'm rooting for the chaos. I want them to still put for at least 4 teams from the SEC in, but I want it to be like, well, who is actually going to get in on the day? So it's like shocking and surprising. So Vanderbilt can add to the chaos here. So I am excited to see how Tennessee's defense lines up with the QB Diego Pavia. Will they be able to control him because he is so dynamic on his feet? You really he can evade you. Like you said, he's sneaky.
No, he's so they're just the whole Vanderbilt team is very sneaky and they I don't know. I honestly respect them. I have so much respect for the Vanderbilt team. When you look back at their season, they show up. I mean, they've beat three ranked teams this year. I mean, it's insane when they beat Missouri, when they beat Bama. I mean, Kentucky even. So these are games that were huge, and so I think Tennessee needs to be on their tiptoes when they come into this game.
They absolutely do. And the problem with Tennessee a lot of the times is they start slow, and I don't think you can start slow against this Vanderbilt team. You're really going to have to be explosive, and we've seen across the board, not only in the SEC but across all of college football, a lot of these teams aren't traveling well. They're not playing well on the road, and that is a huge indicator now for who's going to win. The home team has an even bigger advantage than we've seen in the past. So it's gonna be interesting for sure. I'm gonna favor Vandy. I think I need to stop pulling against Vandy, because they always end up surprising me in some way, and so I'm really putting all my eggs in the basket of Diego Pavia really showing up for this rivalry game. I think he also wants to up his transfer portal stock. I think he thinks he can get to a bigger team, or he might just stay there, but who knows in this wild, wild west of NIL and transfer portal. But I think he could really go somewhere big and make a bigger impact with the football team. So I think he really wants to show out. I think he wants to come in strong, come in hot with his team. I think a key player for Tennessee to get going, is gonna be Dylan Sampson. When Dylan Sampson is at his best, he can win you a football game, and if Vandy is able to stop him, then I think it's gonna be a long night for Tennessee. I think it's gonna be very, very difficult for them to pull out a win without Dylan Sampson, and, I mean, Nico, he can get rattled pretty easily right now. He is a freshman. So it's going to be interesting to see, but right now I am favoring Vandy, which just adds to the complete chaos of the SEC. The only one who's for sure in is going to be the winner of that SEC championship game, which will obviously be against Georgia and a Texas team. So
We'll just have to see. This conference is just unbelievable sometimes.
it's crazy and I love it. I think the first year in this new 12-team playoff atmosphere has just been absolutely incredible. And I can't wait to see how the playoff rankings shake out and how the playoffs work this year. It's only going to get better. And we have football through January now. So we love it.
Well, thank you guys for joining us for previewing the Vanderbilt Tennessee game, and we hope to see you guys next week. And let's see if Molly and Emma's favors win.